There's only so much room in a 4-minute song, so let's talk about it. We'll start with some stripped-down acoustic videos, and then a few girl chats. From self-love, dating, and relationships to chasing our dreams, no topic is off limits. There are lots of laughs, but it also gets deep. Join us as we bare our souls in the Beyond the Song series. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Beyond the Song series on my song, Superman. Once again, my name is TAMISH, and I have my amazing family here with me today. We're all the way in Chicago, the Windy City, my hometown, no better city in all the land. And I want to introduce you to them. If you take a look over here, my cousin Derica, say hey, hey. There's my grandmother, it's Grandma Ruby there, say hi. Hey. My aunt, Auntie Toya's here with us today. Hi. And we have my aunt and godmother, Gail, Auntie Gail here. And this lovely lady is my mother, say hi. Hello. And last but not least, my sister Trinae.
Hello.
Awesome. All right, let's get right on into it today. Here we go. Why didn't your first relationship work out? Let's get on to the deep of the deeps, okay? Why would you say your first relationship didn't work out across the board? Marriage, relationship, whatever it may be. What is it that what happened that it didn't work out, that it wasn't for you? Okay.
My first relationship did not work because, first of all, we were very young. We married because we were on our second child, which was the main reason, that we got married, and we figured that was just the right thing to do. And it didn't work out just mainly because we were young and our mindsets just, we weren't ready for that. We had spent so much time with each other that we weren't young. We weren't young long enough. We weren't able to travel and go see things, just be, go away to college and all the things that I think, individuals need and they're growing up into. That going away to college is like a huge thing to me. You need that 4 years, grows you up, and it makes you learn about yourself and what this world is all about. So we didn't have that time. He's a good person over there, and, for me. But that was it for me. Yeah.
Who else? Ma.
Because I'm the only other divorced person here, so I need to speak up.
But it could be any relationship. But
I would say, since we're talking about marriage, and then, I would talk about infidelity. I think that kind of sort of similar to what Toya said. My ex-husband and I got married young, too soon, fresh out of college. And I decided that when I graduated from college is that I don't want to go back there. Those people, which were my parents, and so therefore the next best thing is to hook up with this person. But it actually was a situation where we were too young. We were too young and had not explored and did enough things outside of each other, and become adults. And I believe that that's how all of the animosity and infidelity. I believe that's how all of that creeped in. We had a child that did not survive through a stillbirth, and I think that was enough just to shake the very core, because we didn't know how to put things totally back together. Even though we still end up having Tamish and Trinae, we still didn't know how to bring that thing back, because for one thing, we weren't saved. I'll throw that in there, and that we didn't have that common denominator of God being in the middle in order to pull us tighter and closer together. So that death of our oldest son just kind of like shook the very core, and that's how we ended up falling apart.
All right, what about you all over here, pretty ladies?
I stuck with my husband from December of '56 to August of '99, till the day he died. A lot of times in between that could have been abolished, divorced, but my mother, Mattie Lewis, she taught me, a woman always stuck with you stuck with your husband didn't fall as long as you can live to keep him up. And that's what I did. He never fell till the day he died, because Ruby wasn't gonna let it. There it is.
Mm-hmm. But was there, so that's kind of a heavy thing. I'm trying to see it in a couple of different ways. So I think there's sometimes when you're supposed to like fight for a relationship, and perhaps there are other times you need to know when enough is enough and you're not supposed to do it.
But I guess I never, a couple of times I knew when enough was enough. But see, it's a lot of different than, if you don't catch a man in the bed, how you gonna say he was in there? I mean, you feel like he was in there.
Okay.
You know,
You talking about with another woman?
right.
Okay.
And it could have been, but you never had. We had businesses. He and I, we had businesses. We had this, we had that. We had brand new cars. There was very little we didn't have. Then he got sick. So what you gonna do? I can't throw him away. That's my husband. That's my children's father.
Yeah.
And he needed me.
So death do us part.
The death do his part, and that's what it was.
Yes. Now, to the contrary, now my mother with my dad, which I don't mind sharing, because I guess I can share my own dad's situation. Given that there was infidelity with my dad, because I have siblings that are close in age, that we don't call stepsister, stepbrother, that kind of thing. We're like brother and sister. So I have siblings that were had in the midst of my mom's marriage, or my dad and my mom's marriage. What is it that said to you, Tammy Bates, that, no, this is it? What you're not gonna do is have all these people around here making me look like a fool.
I would say,
and I love you, Dad.
I don't hold any grudges against him at this point. I would say, because of the example that I did see her, I did have in front of me was my mom and then my dad. And then there was rumors about, him doing things, my dad doing things out there. That affected me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be like this. I'm not gonna be that one that stands and just keeps hearing and sticking this all the way out. And then I had my education, I had a good job, and so I was able to move on. It wasn't like I was getting ready to miss any meals. Even though your dad was a good person and still took care of Tamish and Trinae. But I just wasn't going to, I didn't have to. Yeah. Even though we talked to the pastor, and the pastor was like, telling me some things and everything like that, but I still just felt that I needed to do what I needed to do. To take care of my girls, to show an example for them. And like I said, there was a few other things other than just the infidelity, which showed that we didn't need to be, that was not the person for me to be with forever and ever. Yeah.
Which is possibly, I think, the difference too, because and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, just the fact that perhaps, there are people that I think God has purpose for us to be with. And sometimes we can connect ourselves to someone that maybe God does not have for us, because we are so interested in them and we're so in love, or we're whatever's going on. We don't take a moment just to step out for a second and see, like, all right, because once love fades and once all those lilies, daffodils, and butterflies get out of here, like on paper and just in real life using my brain, is this gonna work out? Like, are we compatible? What is this I hear about you having, 2 children, and I don't know, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. Like some of that stuff, we don't hear it in the midst of it. But if you heard the story now, for a young girl that was your age, you could see it clearly. But, hindsight is 20/20, I guess is my point.
Like you said, back then I couldn't hear it. Yeah. I couldn't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
So.
And you come to find out in the midst of it later, because you all were together how many years?
Married total probably 10 or 11 years.
Okay. So in the midst of that time period, you got a chance to get to know each other more, and from there you just saw, this ain't it. We're not about this life, or I'm not about this life with you.
I didn't know that kind of statement back then. I'm not about this life. Yeah.
Okay, so we got, again, Grandma Ruby said, sticking it out to the end, faithful to the end. And then we got Mother said, I'm gonna say, bust the windows out your car. That's not the truth. That's not it. It was the truth. It's just a song. I'm giving a song. Faithful to the end. You said that, Chris Brown, moving on to something better. So what in your situation made you feel like, all right, this is quits?
Well, first with us being too young in the beginning, but then there was infidelity as well.
But we don't care.
My father, my mother, my entire family, including you, He was your boyfriend, as you said.
Yes.
Loved him.
Yes.
Loved him. He had keys to my mother's house. He was just the one.
Steve Langton.
Yeah, my dad loved him. Loved him. But there was infidelity. We had 2 boys at the time, which they were very young, and he decided that was what he wanted to do. I made the decision, you can't stay here anymore because I'm not myself right now, and you might not be too safe. So
what you might want to do. Get out of here.
So it was just so much. It was just so much pain, so much, hurt him. And knowing my family loved him, and I'm like, no, this is not happening to me. I know my dad. I know what my dad. Things that went on with him, and I know, about my sister, and I'm like, this is not happening to me. So we are not doing this.
Yeah.
So and I tried to just stick with him because again, that was how we were raised. To stick with him, and it was so many different issues, things that went on with his infidelity. It was in a completely different state. It was just a lot going on. But for Toya, it just happened where I just said, you can't be here.
Yeah.
You can't be here. And I had these little boys, and it was just a really, really, really hard time. And it's just a lot of different emotions, a lot of different trying to do what's best for my boys, and it again, putting Toya on the back burner, like, okay, well, what's best for them and my family? Like, don't send them down there with him, and don't do this. I'm like, but it's not about, I have to learn to remove me because it's for these 2 boys. And so I did that. I did that still, and I'm still hurting. I'm still hurting all of this time, just hurting. But it's about your boys, Toya. It's about your boys. It's not about him. Okay, God, what would you have me to do right now? Because I'm broken. What do I do? So as time went on, he stayed where he was, and it was even years later that happened in, let's say, 2000 was when he was completely gone. And by 2000, he never started the divorce or any of that. By 2007, I was able to get myself together and get the divorce done.
Yeah. So all right.
Well, that was it. It's done.
Hats off. Tip my hat to that. Next week on the Beyond the Song series, do you all think you could ever forgive someone for being unfaithful?
Nope. You gotta rebuild your trust with me. Forget? No, I'm not gonna never forget.
You can't live like that.
I have a low tolerance for foolishness.
One thing a man can't handle is thinking that his woman was somebody else